Well, the song has a lot of meanings for me. I think, the most obvious meaning when you first listen to it and when we were writing it was to create a song about how, love is the most intoxicating, powerful drug in the world. It can just make you feel so high that you don't even realize that you're in a relationship that's not really real, that it wasn't really love at all. It was just a perfect illusion. Our modern struggle with, human connection when it comes to, social media and this sort of endless running of images on Instagram and Twitter and other social media. We're all kind of creating these perfect illusions of ourselves that we're either trying to keep up with or maybe having trouble keeping up with other people's illusions and unable to find what's authentic in the sea of all of that. So, this song is about all of those things. Well, Josh worked on guitars. And that happened a little bit later. Kevin was the sort of the brainchild of the record. He really was the one that came up with the concept of illusion, and he came in with these like melodies and lyric ideas, and then we sat down and we kind of tore it into sections and rewrote the lyrics and the melodies and restructured the chorus, the sentiment of the chorus, and took the song to a new place. Blood Pop's an incredible producer. Mark Ronson, executive produced the whole album, and he's just brilliant and very generous. I think the coolest thing about it was being embraced as a female musician, It was just, I was treated so equally in the studio, and it really helped me to gain even more confidence and create something I'm really proud of with my friends. Well, Mark and I have known each other for almost 10 years, so I already knew him. I met Kevin through Mark because they worked together, and I met Blood Pop then through John Janik from Interscope. Father John Misty, I met through John Janik as well, but I knew all of these people. I just was being connected to them now for the first time through, mutual friends. Beck is someone who I've adored and loved for a very long time. It was no secret to him that I was a big fan, so I hunted him down at the Saint Laurent show and was like, we need to write songs. And he came in and worked with us as well. And Florence I've known, and I asked her to write with me, and she wanted to, and we wrote this great song, Hey Girl, together. I could go on and on. It's just a wonderful, wonderful group of people, and I'm really lucky. Every time you finish a record or you finish writing a song, there's that moment where everyone kind of looks at each other and goes, oh my God, that's a record. That sounds like a great record. And it's there's no feeling like it. I remember just the other day, here's one. I walked into the nightclub Moth in London to sing Perfect Illusion for the first time, and I hadn't seen Mark since the song went #1 on iTunes in over 60 countries. And I just walked into the DJ booth and looked at him, and we just stared at each other for a few seconds and were just silent. Because, it's like, what do you say? Because at the end of the day, we're just two kids from New York, and we just can't believe our song's on the radio. And I'd also say that I made dinner for the guys a lot at the studio. I would cook, and, at 5 o'clock, we'd pour a drink, and I'd go in and heat up all the food that I would make in the morning at my place, and then bring over in pots, and there was a little kitchen at the studio. So we would, eat kind of like a family and eat home-cooked food, and then we would work again late into the night, and I just won't forget that. It was just such an awesome, family feeling. It was just deeper, and it was more emotional. It was a little bit more difficult, or a lot more difficult at times. Mark was really great at navigating that because I could be quite emotional at points, trying to get out lyrics and get out melodies and get out ideas, and he just tried to calm me down and, remind me that my perspective as an artist is important and that I don't need to try to be anything but myself. And, having someone to reaffirm the things that you believe in is really important. And I would also say that it's even hard now. Even doing interviews about this album, today is so much harder than doing all the other interviews about the other albums I've done before, because they were more concept records and the themes on them were, related to fame, or for Born This Way it was, more of a social activism and related to bullying and acceptance and individuality and what it's like to grow up feeling like an outcast. And Art Pop was a more conceptual, artistic album. And then you have this new one, and it's just, a bunch of songs about my life. So as I'm telling each interviewer about the record, I'm delving into these private stories that are, they're just like right at the surface, especially since I'm still finishing things up. I'm like I tell everyone I'm a laugh away from a tear. Like I could laugh really loud or cry, in a second.